All right, good evening. Welcome to our Tuesday, September 24th meeting of the Select Board. It is 5:30 p.m. We have one appointment tonight, but that is at 6 p.m. for a joint sewer commissioners meeting. So we will move into our agenda items and get through those first. Our first agenda item, we have the presidential election. There's additional early voting schedule that we need to vote on. We did vote on quite a few from our last meeting. Additional ones are going to be Saturday, October 19th from 8 to noon. This is all early voting for in-person hours. Saturday, October 19th, 8 to noon. Tuesday, October 22nd, 10 to 2. Wednesday, October 23rd, 7:30 to 11:30. And Thursday, October 24th, 3 to 6. The previous ones that we had voted on was October 26th, 9 to 11 and 3 to 5. The 29th, 2 to 5, and the 30th, 7:30 to 11:30, and 31st, 12 to 3. I'll make a motion to approve the additional early voting hours.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next, we have the special town meeting.
Jan's gonna come up because she feels like that'd be better. So,
There is
I'll still leave this open.
been a citizen's petition for the road discontinuance of Old Upper Street. It sounds like Alicia's received more than 200 signatures that she has been working on getting certified. So with that being said, I'll move to call a special town meeting for October 22nd at 6:30 p.m. at the Buckland Town Hall. The warrant for said special town meeting is now open and will close October 7th at 3 p.m.
I second that.
Any further discussion? None, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So that's you, Sue. That's it. You're on that night.
That's it.
And it's open meetings. If anybody else has anything else they want to bring up for it, they've got
Right.
till October 7th to let Heather know, or Pam, or whoever is going to be here.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that way there. So right now, currently yours is the only agenda on for that special meeting, but this will give the town hall time to make sure that they don't have anything that will need to get added on, or any other citizens that would need something brought up as well, because now that meeting is going to be set, so.
October 22nd at 6 o'clock.
Yes, the meeting will be October 22nd at 6:30.
6:30.
Yep, here.
Yeah.
6:30.
22nd, 6:30.
So a quorum is 7 people? Is that correct? And is it?
That would be an Alicia question. I'm not positive. I know those were, I think that was the COVID numbers.
Wow,
For that?
that's a small amount.
Yeah.
It
Well,
really
it's a certain, it's a percentage, but I know it was knocked way down during COVID.
Yeah, it's an
So-
unbelievably small number. I
What-
think it was 7, but I'm not.
So,
If you find out, can any one of you
Yes.
get back to Sue on that and maybe give her a call just so she'll know? Okay, I'd appreciate
And is a
that.
vote taken at that time?
Yes.
on the 22nd?
Yes. Yep.
And the people.
As long as we have a quorum, it will get voted on that night.
Okay, so if you have, are you counted as the quorum as well?
Yes, because we're all registered voters.
Okay. So 7 people total, you take a vote.
It might
I'm
be
not
7.
saying 7, because I'm not sure on what.
Okay, her or Pam will give you a call, okay?
Yep, so they'll figure that out tomorrow. I would assume.
It's been 7, but I don't know if that's the official, that was just to get us through for a
Right.
few years.
7 was, I believe, the COVID number that we
Oh, okay,
needed.
that's what it was for? Yeah.
That is no longer the case, so I want to double check and make sure. And then we'll make an announcement too at our next meeting.
Sue, do we have your number? You probably do. We probably have it somewhere. Your telephone number.
625-9916.
There you go.
And and I see Alicia. A couple of things. I brought in today the last batch of signatures. It's at least 250. And I know Alicia, she'll be working on certifying. At that meeting, when there is a vote, does that take effect immediately?
Yes.
Okay. I
Yes,
mean,
because
that's
it was,
the final.
so I know that's your, so there might be, I know there's some easement stuff that Heather was working on too. So when she gets back, I think she was gonna,
I think
crack
three
down
of
on that.
us sign a letter.
right.
Yeah.
And that's.
Well, but I think, the phone company and, so I think Verizon might have had an easement or AT&T, so she had to work on those as well. So, cause she wants to make sure everything is cleaned up for that. So she said she's gonna be, when she gets back, she'll be, getting going on those. I think she's already sent letters to them, so she's just gotta follow up with them when she gets back. So these were all just utility easements. But that way there, the deed will be clean at that
Without
point.
three to sort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once it's voted though, the deed will go through. So you'll be good to tell them at that point that everything was voted on and it's passed, even if it takes us another week or so to get everything onto the deed. You know, at least that way there, you can tell them that, you know,
Yeah.
it is.
And Comcast goes over my land as well.
Right, so those are all the easements that she's gotta deal with for that, so, okay?
You're welcome, Sue. Yeah.
Very much.
Thanks, Sue. All right,
Very good.
we have contract and grant documents. We have the Elm Street culvert replacement, temporary construction easement. We've got the notice of award and construction contract. The temporary construction easement for Don and Luis Bascom. Bid tabulation and notice of award. Is that this one? No. I think this is
So it starts with a temporary easement in the packet that you have
There it
there.
is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're all clipped together.
Yeah.
And that Elm Street is all clipped together.
Okay.
So Don and Lois's temporary easement, they have signed already.
Okay.
Yep, we have that here.
So we just need to sign that,
Yeah.
that easement. All right, I'll make a motion to approve a temporary construction easement for Lois and Donald Bascom for 62 Elm Street.
I second that.
Further discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Well, according to our bylaws, it is 7.
Oh, is this their documents to sign folder?
Yes.
What?
We'll just give
For
it all to them.
town meeting
No,
for-
sign it all, they don't do it
It's
now.
officially
Got it,
7.
perfect.
Oh,
So it hasn't changed, they haven't changed it then, okay. We're not gonna before that meeting.
And this is according to our website.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
It seems like a small amount. When I lived in Worthington, it was 21.
Clint, there's the documents to sign
Okay.
folder.
And then we have the bid tabulation and notice of award. I'll make a motion to award the bid to Joe Ray for the replacement of the culvert on Elm Street at the Pine Street intersection in the amount of $98,548.
I second that.
Just double check.
Yeah, right
I
here.
had it.
That's-
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Just wanted to double check.
And this is right, he's got this with it too, probably. You've got it in there somewhere,
It's
so.
somewhere in here.
Sure.
A little further back
Yeah.
is the
Yeah,
actual
yeah.
notice of award.
Yeah.
Did one of you?
Yeah, she
second
said.
Yeah, I second it, yes.
Any further discussion? None, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Be nice to have that done.
Yes.
Yeah, it's actually a good price.
There's a
change order.
following that.
Yeah, it's, yeah.
So we have a change order for the trenching for water and sewer infrastructure. I'll make a motion to accept the change order in the amount of $18,400 for additional trenching and work for water and sewer infrastructure.
I'll second that.
Further discussion? All in favor?
I have a question.
Okay.
Where's this money coming from?
So that one was coming out of
There was
Yep.
20,000.
Chapter 90.
Okay,
That
thank
was
you.
Chapter 90 money.
We've been talking so many different sources of money, so.
We're pulling money from a lot of different
Right.
places.
All right.
I believe, is part of the sewer, is part of that trenching coming from the sewer?
That was my understanding, is that
Okay.
just the sewer part of it will come out of the sewer line maintenance
Right.
line item on our budget.
Yeah.
We've got the materials, but they will do the trenching.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll all come into on the same bill, but on this end here, we can take the money out of the sewer account.
We've also allocated $5,000 for the water department to do their part, to buy the materials, and Rebecca has sent me the list of what she's purchased, so, and it was just under 5,000.
Well, that's still a good price to have that done. It really is, yeah.
And to hopefully, barring no issues, having it all done before winter.
Yeah.
So, you're gonna have to keep coming to meetings, Larry. And be able to keep getting out.
Yeah. I don't know if my car can make it anymore, but I'll walk.
Yeah. Any further? All in favor?
Aye.
We have the North Street Drain Diversion Notice of Award and Contract. So that's the, is that Henninger's?
Yeah, that's the
There's
easement.
four
Yeah,
easements,
four of them
which
there.
have been mailed out,
Okay.
but we haven't received any back yet
Okay.
from the residents signing them,
Moffett and Dean Singer and
which actually they can't really,
who else?
they're gonna have to wait till
Oh,
the
Towner,
back,
yeah.
otherwise we'll have their signature.
Margaret
Sign them.
Smith.
They can't sign them tonight. Okay. So, we'll talk about that.
Sherry's is further up.
I know.
She used to own that house. She still own it?
Which one?
Moffitt's? Sherry still own?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the house that was having the issue.
Oh, what's his name, lives there, the policeman from,
Dean Singer's house is the house that's having the issue.
Right.
Sherry rents her house.
yeah.
Okay. For some reason, that was one I had stuck in my head. All right. We'll make a motion to approve a temporary construction easement for Sherry Moffett, Patricia Heminger, and Dean Singer, and Carrie Linden, Margaret Towner Smith, Pierre and Jennifer, Margaret Smith.
Your turn or my turn?
Anybody?
You go ahead.
Okay, I second it. I play this game.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
And we have,
So just to add, those easements have gone out to those residents, so you're gonna probably, once they come back, you'll have to come in and sign them.
Yep.
Once the,
Mm-hmm.
they're
Yep.
signed.
we wanna try to
They're in
keep
that
these
packet.
projects
Yeah, make
moving,
sure they,
so.
yeah.
And we have a motion to award the bid, for the North Street drain diversion to CNA Construction Company, Inc., in the amount of $169,675.
Second that.
And again, the source of money for that is Chapter 90?
That was,
That's the,
which one was that coming out of?
coming out of the, hello, railroad yard.
Oh,
Depot Road
Oh,
left
Depot
over, I thought.
Road,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay. Is that what that big mound of dirt is
No,
being?
No,
Depot's
Depot's
for
doing
Avery.
Oh,
Avery.
Depot's Avery, oh, excuse me.
This
one
one's
was-
chapter 90.
This was all
Yeah.
chapter 90.
Chapter 90 also?
Yep.
Oh, good, okay.
And is
So-
that big mountain of dirt on North Street, is that what that's being used for? It's a huge.
No,
No,
that's
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 for-
holding until April.
Yeah, that's for up there. They had to move it from the town yard,
Yeah,
so they could start on the salt shed,
Interesting, interesting.
so.
Thank you.
Don't ask where the money coming from for the salt shed, because that's coming from 4 different places, and I can't
All right,
remember
well,
them
it's
all.
okay.
Luckily, we're not voting.
We're not
on any of
voting
that
on it.
tonight.
That's not tonight.
I'll also make a motion that authorizes the chair to sign any
You didn't
additional
sign on
documents.
the motion to award the bid, I don't think, did you?
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Sorry.
Mary's
Keep
keeping
us on our
everything
toes,
fine.
Cracking
Mary.
Good
whip.
job, Mary.
Make a motion that authorizes the chair to sign any additional documents that are needed for North Street and Elm Street projects.
I'll second that.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We're getting there.
Mm-hmm, doing well.
Permits and licenses. We have a town hall use permit application from the Mary Lyon Foundation. Town hall use permit application, Friends of Buckland Rec parade permit. For the Sherman Falls Women's Auxiliary. We already signed that one. For the Rag Shag
Did?
parade.
No,
No,
you
you
did
haven't.
Moonlight Magic
It is
last
Moonlight
time.
Yeah.
Magic.
I was gonna say, she just
Oh,
brought it
that's
to me.
right. Yeah. Alright. I'll make a motion to accept the town hall use permit for Mary Lyon Foundation.
Second that?
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And I don't know about the Friends of the Buckland Rec.
Are there any?
Shifty characters.
But I like the one from Mary Lane's. It's, the purpose of it is people who support people meeting.
They've been meeting, they have those meetings quite regularly up
Yeah.
here.
They just meet.
Yeah, we're always signing them for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, I'll make a motion to accept the town hall use permit for the Friends of the Buckland Rec. These are all for Moonlight Magic,
Just that one.
It's your turn.
Oh, I'll second that.
further discussion,
Who says we don't have
all in
fun?
favor?
We gotta have fun. Aye.
You both have to answer the, all in favor?
Oh, sorry, I didn't. Oh, that's right, you can't vote, right?
I did.
Oh, you did vote, well, I'm sorry.
Vote. Joan, you still on vacation?
Yeah, I still dream that I'm there, and I wake up and go, no, I am not there.
We didn't have all this confusion.
She looks over this way, she goes, oh, I'm back. Dream is now a nightmare.
And then we have a parade permit for the Sherman Falls Ladies Auxiliary for the Rag Shag Parade. That will be on the 31st at 5:30. The parade will go from Depot Street in front of the Blue Rock Restaurant, and they will march to the State Street Eagles Auxiliary Hall and disperse from there.
Greg has not returned his signature yet.
Okay.
I did send it.
That's sad we don't do it like they used to, at least go across the bridge and, you know, I mean, then turn around there. They
Well,
went
they
to
used
the
to go out and
people.
do it at the Vets Club.
Well,
but-
then started over there and walked this way.
So, is it my turn?
Pardon?
Is it my turn
I'll
to
ma-
second it?
I'll make a motion to
Okay,
accept
go
the
on.
parade permit for the Sherman Falls Auxiliary, Ladies Auxiliary for the Rag Shag Parade on the 31st,
All
on
right.
October 31st.
I will second that.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And
This is interesting.
we have the movie coming into town.
Yeah.
And Halloween?
No.
Yes. The date's 10:30, 10:31.
10:23,
We'll be here
10:30,
for about
31.
11-1,
Oh,
yeah.
really?
But not filming that whole
Do you know
time.
anything about the movie?
I do. I met with the producer this morning.
Yeah. More, please. Is this an open meeting?
Thriller. It's a thriller, yes.
Thriller?
Yeah.
The thriller, yeah.
Thriller.
That's gonna be
It
the
sounds
last.
like an interesting
The last
plot,
one
though.
was too.
Sounds like it's.
What happened to the quiet little village?
They'll be filming also in Ashfield and Coleraine,
So you'll get
Shelburne, Buckland.
Yeah, the Mill, McCuskers, and the West End Pub. Okay,
So it says,
It's pretty minimal
And the bridge.
impact.
and on the bridge.
A drone shot on the bridge, yeah.
Is it? Yeah. Oh, good.
They're having some challenges with all the construction, however, to set up shots and so forth.
Tell them to join the club.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I think by then, though, they should be done with the construction.
There's also a crane down at the dam for Great River.
Yeah.
Yep.
why did they choose, our town?
Probably for a lot of the same reasons it's been chosen in the past. I think this, the certain look, they're looking kind of for this small town, feel. And a lot of the buildings fit that look that they're going
A
for.
village look, yeah. The Vagrants Inc., is that a big film company? Or?
No, it's a very small, it's pretty small, independent.
And there's a connection to our area, or?
The producer actually is from New York,
Mhm.
but, yeah.
Okay.
It's, okay, Somerville, Mass.
That's where the production
Company
company
is,
is
yeah, production
based.
company is, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, she's been very nice, she's definitely very, looking to be as low impact and as much as she can do in return for us. She seems very willing and happy to do that. Again, much smaller than the scale of Dexter or the Judge or Labor Day. I mean, this is gonna be much, much smaller.
Yeah, but Dexter, they were very generous.
They don't have the same budget.
Yeah.
She made that pretty clear.
Well, there's this thing, we'd love to discuss if you would recommend intermittent traffic control. That's something they would have to pay for.
Yeah, she's already talked to Greg. She's
Okay,
met with
good.
Greg.
It's a little different, they're filming this with an 8mm camera, so.
Or their phone.
They're-
I think it's a little more than that.
The iPhones, yeah.
iPhone on a tripod.
Right, right, yeah.
One of the sticks, the selfie sticks.
Selfies, yeah.
We're not faulting their movie, we're just checking about the size.
If it works,
Yeah.
if it works. I'll make a motion to approve the film permit for 2 roads.
I second that.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Alright. Oh, we're gonna make it all the way through before 6 o'clock. I like it. We have the minutes for September 10th. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
It's like a lively meeting.
You have to second that one.
All right, you missed.
Oh, is it my turn?
She wasn't here.
I wasn't here.
Oh, where was she? Okay, I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
No? Mhm.
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excuse me.
And we have the vendor and payroll warrants, the 2508 for each. I'll make a motion to approve both warrants.
I second that.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Items not reasonably anticipated by chair. I have nothing. Right? I have nothing.
Not that we're aware of.
All right, just making sure there was no last minute addition.
Drop a bombshell.
Select board member concerns?
I've been approached by several, about 5 people actually, that try to go to work in the morning with our so-called detour that they have there, and they are, I'm just looking to say maybe I should talk to Greg Barrow because they're flying. They're flying Thackeray's Corner, which is actually like Franklin Street that turns and goes to the left down to there around that corner. And Gina, you have to stop coming up and stay to the right because they're just, you know, and I'm wondering, I know they park a police cruiser out here. Nobody's going down South Street. I think maybe I'm going to talk if.
We did, so the safety committee met recently, and that was one of the items they spoke about, and Tim Bedravich, Sergeant Bedravich,
Yeah,
Sergeant,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Was at the meeting, and he was gonna make the effort of conveying to the officers that they really should start being up there.
Well, I just thought I was going to go and ask them, instead of just, they don't need to stand here, they're just blocked, it's get the cruiser, now they leave the cruiser empty, I don't know if somebody's there anymore, but just move it up, and I could just picture that corner there, not right on the corner, but where
Well, they're there as a detail officer though.
Oh, are
so,
they?
Yeah.
I-
So that's not
So
their
they
patrol
couldn't,
shift.
go do that even for,
But,
well, it's worse from what I'm gathering. Ronnie Dober said it, because he goes down, his salon, Gina goes at 8 o'clock, and they said it's really tough from about 7 to 8:30. The cars are flying, and, you know, not that we want to ticket them, but we want to slow them down a little bit, so.
Well, there's a detour sign missing.
I just heard that this afternoon.
Yeah.
The one on Ashfield Street?
Yeah, that's missing.
I think it's just,
No,
Oh,
it's
it's
missing.
gone?
It's gone.
okay.
It's gone.
Oh, that was right across the street.
So people aren't, you know, people aren't gonna know, if they're from out of town, they're not gonna know where they
Yeah.
have to go, so.
Yeah, okay, well, then I'm gonna see Greg then sometime, okay? Yeah, okay, and I'll just tell him, because I'm getting complaints from the people, and I don't blame them. I went yesterday with Gina, we were going down, and said, well, I'll go with you in the morning, we'll see how it was. Not a single car but ours up there, so. But then again, this morning was a little bit, you know, all right, thank you, yeah, I'll do
When we
that.
leave our street, Monroe Avenue, people are whipping around
Oh,
that curve there.
They are, yeah, it's kind of dangerous pulling out there.
Yeah.
You've got to pull out to the point where you're actually interfering with the eastbound,
Yes.
so that you can see far enough around the shrubbery there, so that when you do pull out, that there's nothing there.
Have you noticed them coming quick when you're pulling out in the morning? Yeah, okay, thank you. Just one more person that,
They're,
we just gotta slow them down a little bit, and sometimes the presence of an officer, we don't have to write tickets, but warnings and stuff help to remind them. A lot of them are local, they're just the local people.
Well, another issue is the stop sign here, where people just fly right through
They
it.
always have, they put the 2 stop signs in, and they see nobody here, so they do.
they never used to be there either, so
Right,
that's.
right. They were put there to slow people so you can get off the bridge. I mean, you slow down in that 6 seconds, you can
Yeah.
get off the bridge, and they allow piggybacking, but we are playing for a police department, we might as well see if we can get a little coverage, so, okay.
All right. She didn't have any report for you guys to give for,
You have anything? You're the,
that's right.
Well, I quit.
No report. No report today.
Heather 2.0.
We're not letting you go, we're not gonna accept that, sorry.
Thank you for taking on that extra work.
Public comment. Dan, anything else you'd like to ring in on before we roll into our joint sewer commission?
Anything, Dan, just so we can fill up the spot.
now, if I say something, somebody's just gonna have to, document it, write it down. It won't create any work for somebody. We already discussed the thing at the end of Monroe Avenue.
There we go.
So
There we
we're
go.
good.
Announcements and upcoming meetings. Our next meeting is the 10th?
Eighth.
Eighth?
At the 8th.
The 8th.
I think it's the 8th of October.
Yes, it will be the 8th, the second Tuesday.
Yep. There is one little announcement to let, that we did put out notices to all the residents on Upper Elm, Laurel, Pine about the neighborhood meeting that's happening on Thursday at 4:30 PM here to discuss the construction project.
So the meeting is here, not on site?
Correct.
No, there's one in the morning I'm gonna go.
This
That's tomorrow, the pre-construction for
Yeah,
like,
is that tomorrow or Thursday?
no, the pre-construction's tomorrow,
What time?
10.
Okay, yeah, because Joe Ray will be up there to talk about,
For the residents, it's
I'm gonna go down,
Thursday.
yes, I'm gonna get on and listen to this.
The
Okay.
residents one,
Yeah.
or the tomorrow one? Residents, 4:30.
I'm gonna be in Greenfield at the FERCog for a meeting there at 6. I could come for a little while, I guess. Okay, Tuesday.
Yep.
I won't have to hear. I have other obligations.
Yeah, I'll be there Thursday.
And that's at Town Hall, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Alright, and then also throw another plug for the special town meeting for October 22nd at 6:30 PM. So that'll be pretty much it for us for next month. Alright. Okay, so with that being said, I will make a motion to adjourn our select board meeting and open our joint sewer commissioners meeting.
We'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Jan is on her way. I don't know if you heard me say that. She's coming in person.
Okay.
Jan, I mean,
All right, so we can, for a couple minutes.
yeah, she said she'd be here pretty much on time.
Okay. Well, I will make a motion to open the Buckland Joint Sewer Commissioners meeting. And,
I'll make the motion to open Town of Shelburne's Joint Sewer Commission meeting.
all right, good evening, guys. How are you?
Good, motion made and
Yeah, aye.
all in favor?
All right, so tonight we have a review and award bid for the biosolid removal project. The total amount available for this project is $110,000.
Is that theirs? Did they?
Yes,
she left some-
sorry. This is for,
Yeah.
one for each of you guys.
Thanks.
So, yeah, the amount available is $110,000, shared equally between the two towns, based on the bid results for trucking and disposal, as well as the anticipated cost for the excavation and operator. We anticipate being able to remove up to about 500 cubic yards of material this year. We advertised the bid with the hope we would be able to remove up to 2,000 cubic yards, but disposal fees are pretty costly, so. We expect the work we do this year to need to be repeated in 4 or 5 years. About right, Dan?
Somewhere in the range of 5 years.
So it looks like there's a recommendation that both towns probably continue to put funds away each year for this purpose. Dan, I don't know if you want to go into anything of yours.
So the solids that we're getting rid of is what builds up in the reed beds. And we've got 3 cells. The first cell was put in 1993, and we started putting material into it then. The second and third cells were put in 1995. The first cell was filled by 2007, and that one was emptied, and that one, the contents went to the solid waste management, and they have the landfill just short of the Canadian border, and it was trucked up there. Since then, we've only taken out a small amount of material from the reed beds. We use some material to blend with some topsoil to patch bare spots on the town's landfill, the cap. And there was one other time that we took a truckload to experiment to find out if it was going to be suitable for going through a trommel to get the roots out of it. Other than that, it's all been building up. And the only other thing that we have done is we've had an excavator come in and pull some material to the edges to give us a little bit of a berm around the beds to be able to get a little bit more time before we get things put in order. The original game plan was going to be to try to surface apply the material on the capped landfill to add organic material for the sod, the grass on top. The engineers laid out what we would have to do in order to do that procedure, and the cost for bringing it up there, having a piece of property to stage from, to go from there up to the landfill. By the time we took care of all the expenditures for that, it was going to cost more than what just going to a landfill with it. There is no place in Massachusetts that we could get to take it. The only 2 people that bid on it were a company in New York State and then another one in Ohio.
Yeah.
Casella was also contacted. They, sent somebody down, took a look at what we had, looked at what we have for the chemical components in the sludge, and they decided to not put in a bid for it. They have different limits and at different levels. That gives them different options of what they can do with it. And so when they saw what we had for content, it's something in the range of like 160 or so parts per billion. And so that's something that they didn't want to deal with. They were okay with going up to 5 parts per billion, but above that, it's restricted as to what they can do with it. So we got no bid for them. I believe that it will be landfilled at one of these other facilities, but I'm not sure. But once they take it, whatever it is their responsibility.
The one in Ohio says that it's actually, the permit expires 12/31/24, so is that gonna really limit us even more in the future with only one company?
So the thing that is the concern is the forever chemical that people are talking about, PFAS.
PFAS, yeah.
And so it is still present in our environment as far as it's still in certain things, and it hasn't been, its manufacture and use has not been eliminated yet. And also the Food and Drug Administration, or the EPA, as far as I know, they haven't set limits for exposure, and all they know is it does have potential to cause harm. And so we won't know what the numbers are going to be, 5 or 10 years down the road. We do, with our discharge permit for the EPA, we are on a twice per year schedule of testing the water leaving the treatment plant, the cake in the drying beds, the sludge at the end of our process, and that will be information that will go to whatever becomes of the cake in the future.
Do we know what other towns are doing with their sludge? I mean,
Good question.
we can't be the only ones running into this issue. At some point, it's got to be taken somewhere.
Right. There's, most treatment plants are having their sludge trucked away as a liquid. And the concentrations that they're having to deal with are going to be lower levels than what we have right now. But the treatment plants that they're going to, most of them, if they're taking in sludge as a liquid, they're taking the water out of the sludge, and in most cases, they're putting it through an incinerator. And in the right temperature range, the incinerator destroys the PFAS, and then the ash that gets left over is then inert enough that it can be used or landfilled.
And follow-up question to that is, we can't do that eventually, or is our facility able to do that?
We could do that.
Okay.
It would cost us more money
Yep.
for getting
Well,
rid
it's
of.
an alternative at least if,
Yep.
yeah.
Could you finish that? It would cost us more money.
To have the sludge hauled away as a liquid. The main thing is it being a liquid, you're going to be taking away water, and you're going to have the water will be about 1.5% solids and 98.5% water.
Well, what is the pricing on that? I say it's more expensive. Are we talking double, triple? I just have concern that we're down to 2 companies. We're gonna go down to 1. Competition drives pricing, right?
But
So,
it sounds that that's
Yeah.
the direction we're going anyway, so it's,
what's that?
Yeah.
To liquid?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if all these companies are gonna stop taking the solids,
Right.
So-
I'm just thinking if we're moving to liquid from a budgeting perspective, we just need to get a better idea of what that looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
So that we can.
start putting more away for it.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jan. I'm the director of the Franklin County Solid Waste District, and put this, helped you folks with this bid and pricing, but I also manage a contract for 10 other treatment plants that are hauling liquid. And some of our material goes to Lowell and some of it goes to Montague. And so I've never considered that the town might want to ship liquid, but I can certainly work up numbers because I know our contract pricing for the next, at least our hauling pricing for the next 2 years, 3 years. So it may not be the best price.
I mean, we don't want to, but it sounds like we're gonna be getting pushed to that at some point.
Well, I'm at least willing to, I can run you the numbers, right? We don't know until we know.
Right.
It may be less. My concern is, I ran some estimates of what your $100,000 is gonna get you, and it sounds like a lot of money, but it's not gonna get you what you need. If you need 2,000 cubic yards,
It's a lot more money.
yeah, you're on, I don't know, did they get this?
It's on the back.
Oh, okay.
Follow up on that number, it sounds like we're doing 500 yards this year of the 2,000, is that right?
Yes.
So if the bid here is $183 for 50 yards, that's $1,800 for 500 yards, right?
No, the size, no, it's $184 per ton if you look at the headers on each column.
Oh, sorry.
Cost per wet
Sorry.
ton, $184, and then we asked them the size of the container. So Synagro is basically giving you a roll-off container, like would probably be up at the transfer station, 32-yard container, and Denali is giving you basically a dump truck, 50-yard container.
Okay.
So the back, what I put together today is just some estimates. I asked Denali how many tons would, how many cubic yards a truck would hold, and they said 42. So it's a 52 cubic yard truck, it can hold 42 because it's really the weight limit, they're looking at 32 tons. So I did some conversion, some math there. And depending on how much your excavator is gonna cost, you could be looking at moving 600 to 700 yards with $110,000. So if the estimate holds true and you have 2,000, you're gonna do about a
Yeah.
third of it or a quarter.
So part of it'll depend obviously when they come in to do it. Did we get torrential downpour for the last 2 days before? Because obviously that's gonna make it heavier.
But according to this chart, if 573 cubic yards is $80,000, we're talking about doing 500 yards, so that's
It's almost
somewhere
600.
less than $80,000. That's the cost for this year?
No, what I did was, I was told there was $110 put aside for this project. That includes,
Wait a minute,
that
we gotta
includes
figure
the
out-
excavator.
We've got 110,000 available, so we're looking,
At 183.
Yeah, I appreciate the numbers, but I don't see a shore up of what apples to apples. And again, I'm just seeing it for the first time, so I'm not, well, how does the $110,000 budget on the bid, where's the?
So the $110,000 is what the town has available,
Yeah.
right?
This is the bid
So,
here,
so the
maybe-
bid that we're proposing is Denali, is the top one in bold, $183.66 a wet ton, which is what you have. So I asked them how much would a truckload hold, and they said it would hold 42 cubic yards, and that would be about 32 tons. So I figured out how many tons to a yard,
Yep.
right? So 0.76 tons to a yard, a ton is $184 a ton, so then we don't know what your excavator costs are gonna be. So I said, okay, well, what if you have 100,000 for disposal, what if you have 90,000 for disposal, what if you have 80,000 for disposal? And those are the cubic yardage that would correspond with that. So you're looking at basically, you could say 600, 6 to 650 would be, maybe
So I guess what I'm
700.
saying, so if I just take the bottom number, so $80,000, 436 tons, and I multiply that times what our bid was, which is 183.66 a ton. Do I have that right so far? So 436
Yep, that should come out, 436 times 180, 366.
183.66, if I can get my calculator to work.
Yeah,
436 is $80,075, which you're right on 80 grand.
Yeah.
And we're saying we're gonna move, so from a yards perspective, not to do a different calculation
So
again.
if we're doing 500 yards, that's roughly 400 tons.
No, so
Roughly.
we're doing, but we're looking at doing roughly 700 yards.
Oh, we're doing 700 yards?
Because that's about 544 ton. And that's at the
Yeah,
100,000.
my-
I don't know, because we had to have money for the
Yeah,
excavation.
my understanding is, and the reason I just ran these different rates is you don't have an excavator, right?
Right, we
Or do
didn't
you-
have the
or do you have an
excavator, so-
estimate for the
I've got an
excavator?
estimate for the
And
excavation.
what's that?
It'll be between 15 and 20. It'll be less than 20,000.
Okay, so then you're looking at the 90,000 range. I didn't know that number yet, so,
That's why she gave us the three different
yeah, I just
prices.
guessed.
Yeah.
So how does the 90,000 tie into
This afternoon.
proposal, I guess?
So the 90,000 is what it'll cost us to truck all the material.
Well, 90 plus 20, right? No, I'm sorry, to truck
No.
it, 20 to get it in the trucks, right?
Correct.
Okay, but I guess from apples to apples, we don't, this isn't a bid, this is just for, you did this for us to get
So
some
you can
idea.
Right,
see
so
how
we
many
could
of the 2,000 yards
Right,
you
just
can
so,
afford.
just for us to have a visual of how much material we'll be getting rid of.
Totally
Third
get
of it,
this.
yeah.
Right.
So a third versus 25%,
Yeah.
which is what our current bid is gonna do, about 25%, right?
No, the bid is just giving a cost per ton. We have to decide how many tons we want to get rid of. So
Right.
they're saying with.
We have
with budget,
$110,000 available.
We can do 490 tons this year,
All right.
which is about a third of the total.
The bid is purely a price to hire a truck
Per
to
ton.
move it to disposal, right? So that per what we call the wet ton price, that includes trucking and disposal. So.
I got it, I was
Right.
confused, I thought that, and I apologize, you're coming in and talking about moving liquid, that this was somehow a liquid.
No, the liquid
So the
is
liquid's
different.
totally different, I was, okay, I
No,
totally,
I'm
I
here
get this
with
now.
my sludge cake hat on.
That's
If
my
you want to
fault.
consider sludge
I
cake,
asked
I
what
put that
other,
on.
I asked what other
No
towns were
worries.
doing.
That makes perfect sense, I thought we were trying to
That's how we
compare
got
what
into the
liquid
liquid.
would be to cake, and this makes a lot more sense now. Thank you, got it. All right.
So,
So we're looking at, for the money we have budgeted, we're looking at a third of
Yeah, roughly.
the, now do we have to assume, I don't know, I guess, a lot of money. But where does that put us, I mean, from a strategic planning or just a capital expense planning perspective? I guess what pumps into my mind is, well, on the go forward, do we start looking at getting some of the liquid out so that we're not just gonna continue to do this each time? And if we know that the cake's gonna be harder to get rid of, and we're gonna get limited as to who will do that, as far as, or at least the current climate suggests that not a lot of providers will, that should therefore drive the price up if you were to do it. Are we kind of thinking along dual tracks, or, Dan, what is the, how much liquid do we put out that would, you know what I mean, as far as if we, what the route of other towns? Because it sounds like a lot of towns in the county are doing liquid haul.
yeah, well, Buckland Shelburne is unique in that you have a rebed. Nobody else in the county, did Ashfield once have, Ashfield might have had a rebed once.
They talked about it, but they're getting rid of theirs as a liquid also.
Yeah.
Right, but is the rebed now more expensive, I guess, is the question. You know what I mean? In having it, does that pose a unique financial disadvantage to us? Whereas it might have in that past not, because we got to store it for so long, right?
No,
Okay.
by the numbers, we're still making out considerably better by going with the reed beds. Because we're.
The issue is finding somebody that will take it.
Right, which is gonna become more and more expensive, right?
If we get to the point where the EPA says, has closed down any place that takes the cake,
Mhm.
to transition to having it hauled away as a liquid, we won't have to change anything down at the treatment plant. We will just make arrangements to have it hauled away.
Right, and I appreciate that.
And we won't have any immediate need to
Deal with the cake.
deal with a cake that's in the beds. That can
Right.
stay there indefinitely if
I get all that. So from an end user perspective though, if EPA next year decided they were gonna do it, because what I heard you say was their cap was like 5 parts per billion and we're 160 parts per billion, did I
Yep.
generally hear that? So we're beyond a cap of a huge multiplier.
that's because we're at
That's
cake
for
and not
beneficial
liquid.
reuse.
That's
Okay.
what, that's the, yeah, that's the bidders,
Gotcha.
bidders cap.
All right. So,
Wait, you're talking about ability to spread it in the field.
Right.
but that's what makes it not attractive to take, right? The fact that they
Can't
have,
spread it out.
they have limited uses to do with this cake, is that, I'm new to this.
Yeah, and land application is getting tighter and tighter because
Right.
of PFAS.
Right.
I don't think Casella was gonna land apply it, they were gonna send it up to their Coventry landfill,
Mhm.
on the Canadian border.
Right.
But everybody, because, you know, everybody's nervous about PFAS, and so they see it as a risk to put in their landfill, anything they know
Right.
at that level. So that's why they did.
So 160 is PFAS then.
Parts per billion.
Parts per
Ours
billion.
tested at, right. But I guess my point is, if at some point we need to transition, it's gonna be a budgetary line item, and we need to
Yeah.
think
Because the liquid will
about.
have to be in
That
every year
transition.
disposal, right?
What I would propose,
Yeah.
so that you don't get too far down the liquid
Yeah.
conversation this evening, is I can very easily, I just need to know gallons per year that are shipped and a general percent solids. If it's 1%, 2%, then I can work up hauling and disposal numbers based on our current pricing. And then you have a number, at least to start with.
Right.
So, and, you know, because otherwise you're just,
Yeah.
it's an unknown.
But
and-
that's, so to do a liquid though, that's something we'd have to do it every year.
Yes, it would be, and you wouldn't do it once a year, you would be doing it each week,
Okay.
yeah,
How many-
each week.
How many gallons do you move?
Applying to the reed beds, the sludge at about 1.5, between 1 and 1.5% solids, we're doing in the ballpark of 400 to 450,000 gallons per year.
Okay.
But Dan, you kind of confused me with one statement you said about we could keep the cake in the beds indefinitely.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't be using them anymore.
If we're not putting anything out there, we don't.
If we just switch to a liquid
If
disposal.
we went to liquid,
Okay, got
we
it.
would be,
Everything we have
we
left
would be
instead.
leaving the treatment plant the step before going to the beds.
I see.
Then we could put up more solar.
So the goal of this evening is really, if you agree, based on the two bids, to
Sorry, we went down a rabbit hole.
award, it's okay, I'm trying to pull you guys back up. And I'm back. Would be to award the contract, award the bid to Denali, well, Denali Water Systems, or I didn't put down their full name. And then I have already, I received a draft copy of the contract from them. I had a lot of concerns. I marked it up, I sent it back, asked them for something better. And as soon as I have that in a form that I think is reasonable, I would send it to the town, and then if you want, you know, you folks can look at it, you can have your legal counsel look at it. You know, the goal is not to delay this, but maybe to have that contract for your next meeting.
Yep.
So that you can award it tonight
Yeah.
and sign the contract next time.
So the reason we're considering this is because we reached capacity?
We've got about 6 gallons in a 5-gallon pail right now.
Okay. Thank you.
We're trying to get it back down to capacity.
There's not a hole in the bucket.
Has it ever been removed before?
So we've got the 3 cells of 3 reed beds. The first one has been excavated, and that was, I can drop off a PowerPoint presentation that was done in 2008. That bed was, that we only left a few inches in the bottom of that to let the reeds grow back up. And since then, that one has filled up, and the 2 that were put in 2 years after that, those have all both filled up as well.
So Dan, knowing this new number of, if we go to the 90,000, so 490 tons, how much time does that buy you for filling? I mean, as far as when does that fill again? Years, months, days? I mean,
5, 6, 7 years, somewhere around there.
We have to be doing something pretty regularly, or we're gonna Well, I don't know, I guess that's the question from the finance part. I get that, I apologize, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole. But if we're gonna switch and it can stay there, that's just a strategic decision on how we need to think about end user and how we raise that money. Because if
Yep.
it's gonna go that route, then we've gotta be thinking, and it's gonna be a.
But that'll give us
financial
5,
impact
6,
year over
7
year.
years to figure it out too.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, no, because theoretically, those reed beds that reed bed can fill back up.
Sure.
And then once that's full, we can switch over to liquid,
Yeah.
leave those reed beds as is, and just start shipping liquid at that point. So that'll, either way, it gives us time to start putting money back into a coffer to be able to pay for this down the road.
Right, I'm just trying to
Or
figure
at least
out.
give us a good jump start for, when we do transition over to liquid, we're not taking a huge, setting up a huge chunk for the taxpayers at that point. We can kind of slowly introduce it, as long as we're putting money aside each year to kind of alleviate some of it.
And this may not be an option, and I'll work up the numbers, but I'm just wondering if you could also do a combination where sometimes you waste to the reed beds and sometimes you ship liquid. I don't know if that would,
It would- it
if there
would-
would be,
operationally, that.
but if there would be an economic advantage to kind
Right.
of starting the process of shipping some liquid. But I can work up those numbers for sure.
If you were estimating like 40,000 gallons a month, it sounds like, if you got 500,000 gallons a year, so
Yeah,
what
they
does
go-
that, what does
they
that
go-
translate to?
They go
in
at
terms of-
9,000 gallons a load, so
Oh, so
that
that's
would be,
like 5 loads or 4 or 5 loads.
yeah, close to 7.
Oh, if you're doing 50,000 gallons.
And, yeah, I think it's about, it's like 6 cents a gallon, 6,777. So, 7 cents a gallon times 40, that's 2,800 plus the disposal, so it depends. And this is, again, we can have this conversation now, but Montague does take liquid from our towns, but they're not taking any sludge that has any PFAS. But the question is all of your results from the cake, or is it in the liquid? Like, is it in the liquid now, or is that just residual testing? You're testing your,
So we've
reed
only,
beds,
we've
right?
only, we've only tested it once when we did core samples on the reed beds.
Right.
Because from the permit, that was what they were gonna be looking for, is the last part of the process.
right,
We could test the sludge itself before it goes out there, and those will be lower numbers, but I don't know how much lower.
right. But so, but if there's.
Something to look into down the road.
Right, exactly. Once I give you the number for liquid, you
Yeah.
might just be like, no way. And then we don't have to do any more, but if it
At
looks
least we're thinking about and talking about
reasonable,
it.
then we can
Yeah.
do the next step and see if, test the sludge
Exactly.
outside the reed bed, and if it's a non-detect for PFAS, then it could go to Montague, which is like
Right.
$700 less a load than going to Lowell.
Yeah.
So the 7 cents a gallon, was that just the hauling fee? or was that-
That's hauling, that's hauling to Lowell.
Okay, and then there's
Less to,
a tipping fee on
at
top of
Lowell.
that?
Right. Yeah.
So ballpark for 400,000 gallons a year, 7 cents a gallon, $28,000.
Yeah, that's about what I was thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus whatever the tipping fee is gonna be, so,
Divided by 2,
yeah.
right, each town?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll probably have to do the, well, I don't know, it's a whole other discussion.
Right,
but-
just
Yeah.
depends on where it can go. So, next, maybe at your next meeting, I mean, I'll have the numbers. I can work with Dan and make sure that I'm using the right numbers,
Yeah.
but I have, I can pretty much give you an estimate for liquid based on our current rates.
All right, well, I will move Buckland to review and award bid for the biosolid removal project to Denali for the cost of $110,000. Whatever that'll get us. Or no,
So
for, they're
not-
the
not-
90,000.
Yeah.
They're the 90,000, because we've gotta do the,
Yeah.
so
I
for
think
up to
you wanna use their,
90,000.
sorry, I think you wanna use their wet ton price.
What
And
is it?
$183.66 per wet ton.
183.66 per wet ton.
Right, that would be the bid
Okay.
award.
All right.
And then we will truck as much as we can at that price.
Yep.
Which might be, you know, and the percent or the weight per ton, or the weight per cubic yard is going to vary a little bit. And so we're leaving just a little bit of room so that if it's a little bit wetter, we won't be able to move as much.
Right.
If it's a little bit drier, we'll be able to move more.
And Denali knows that you have a cap. They know that there's an upper limit, so it's not, they're not expecting to, take all of it out.
So the award bid to Denali for 183.66 per wet ton. To whatever we can get.
Second that?
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we'll move the town of Shelburne then to award the bid for sludge cake hauling disposal services for Denali at the cost of $183.66 per wet ton. The cap, I guess we're, okay, with the, motion been made and seconded, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All right, Shelburne accepts, pass. Sorry.
And then do we need to do another one for the excavation?
Not,
We don't have,
I don't have a written.
all the bids in for that, and we don't have that, a written bid in hand.
We'll have to meet again to do it.
Yes.
Shelburne will, yeah.
2 weeks we'll have it.
Okay. All right, so we'll try to set it up again for, I mean, do you guys want to just meet on your own to accept it once we get it in?
You send it to us, I mean, contingent on, I'm assuming we'll both go with the low bidder. Are there gonna be more than one bidder? Are you sending it out, or how we?
I'm going to be receiving one tomorrow morning in the email, and I'm chasing down 2 others.
Okay. I mean, I guess it makes sense to meet as a group if there's gonna be multiple bids, but
Okay.
if you guys.
I would like to have other bids to
Yeah.
to compare.
That makes good sense.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right,
We can pick a time now if
do you guys, yeah, I mean, what? Does this, so we meet again here in
October 8th.
October 8th. Do you think you'll have them by then?
Yes.
Okay. Would the 8th work for you guys? If you wanted to meet, it'd be Tuesday, the 8th? Or if it,
That works for me. At 6 is the same time?
yeah,
Be an
5:30.
appointment already.
I'd
on
have to
for
do
the
6, I
8th.
can't do.
The 8th is a Mohawk one.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it would be
I think-
sustainability
I think
study.
The superintendent is
Well,
coming.
but I think
at
we
like
already,
6:15.
we're just gonna be meeting just to,
Quick meeting, you can.
Hold on.
Yeah, okay.
on the excavator, so, it'll just be
Well-
taking probably a little bit.
Excuse me, sorry to interrupt, but you would also be signing, hopefully signing
A
a contract
contract.
for Denali.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'd have
Okay.
15 minutes, basically, because I think your appointment's at 6:15 with Mohawk.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can sign Denali notwithstanding in theory, right?
Right.
Once that contract's done, that's 2 separate deals, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we voted to accept it, so,
Yeah.
Great, great.
so I don't think we need to actually meet again to.
If you have them there so we can sign, that would be great. If you all have already signed it, that would not be an issue, I
Yeah.
don't think. You would just need to vote on the excavator at that point.
Yep.
Does that work for you, Andrew?
It's fine.
6. Okay. So 6 o'clock on October 8th.
Is earlier better for you guys, or?
Not for me, no, I come right from work and
All
it's,
right.
yeah, so that would work for me.
If the school wants to wait a couple minutes, they can wait a couple minutes.
Okay.
All right, do we have anything else that we need for sewer commissioners?
Just curious if there's any update on the grant project for
We have finally received the last of the parts for that. We've got a pump out for service right now that is getting a major overhaul. I want to have that back in place, and that hopefully will be in the next couple of weeks. Have that ready to go and operational before we start the project of doing a changeover of the motor controls and chart recorder.
But where do we stand on the grant application? Didn't we apply for equipment grant for that pump station?
Yeah, that's what's paying for,
So we got the grant?
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was,
Unfortunately, the grant did not, what I had originally hoped for was that the grant would pay for a pump as well. And when I got the estimate for that, it totally blew away what was available. And so that was when we opted for repairing the pump that we got and putting the rest of the money towards the motor controls
Oh. For on the Shelburne side?
yeah.
for the pumping station.
Did we meet on that to decide that?
I don't, that's why I'm asking for the updates. I've not heard anything about this grant since we started applying for it.
Okay, so,
So it sounds like it went in and we got it.
yes,
Okay. And how much was the grant award?
that you're gonna have to wait for Heather to come back
Okay,
from, I don't know that number off the top of my head.
okay. Well, congratulations.
I know Maureen was aware of it though, because I know Heather was, I remember this was maybe a month or two ago, I think, when she got notice of award for it,
Okay.
because they were figuring out all the paperwork.
Good.
So, because I think Heather put it all together, but then I think Terry actually had to sign it all to send it out,
Yeah.
because we had, I think Heather was working on another grant of the same caliber.
Yeah,
So we
that's
couldn't-
where I
We
last.
couldn't use Buckland in, she couldn't sign it for Buckland and Shelburne.
Yeah, I remember
So I think
that.
Terry signed off on that.
Right, that was where I
That was-
left it, was when
Right.
Terry signed off
Yeah,
on.
but I think
That's
that
why-
was the, I think that was the award stuff, I
I
believe.
think that was the application going in, yeah.
Specific to the engineer.
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay, well, I guess we'll ask Maureen, I don't know. I
Good.
don't have
Well,
it.
hey, you guys, you got the grant.
So we, so do you feel like the compromise that was struck with the amount you had is satisfactory, or is there still more to do down there
We're gonna be in good shape with this year.
for this year?
No,
We're gonna have to
did
meet
did I
separate,
say
I
for
think,
this
with
year?
Dan to ask.
I'm sorry,
You said with this here.
Yeah.
Oh, with
This
this
year.
year, I'm sorry.
With this year.
I misheard you. I said for this year.
I didn't
You turned
notice
white.
that.
We'll have Maureen just set up a meeting, I think, with Dan and with maybe Heather, to just understand how that played out.
Good.
All right,
Well,
great.
thank you, Dan. That's great news.
All right,
Thank you, Jane.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll move
Okay.
Town of Shelburne's Sewer Commission adjourned.
Second?
All right, favor aye.
The Buckland Sewer Commission to adjourn.
See ya. Second that.
All in favor, folks?
Aye.
All right, and everybody that was watching,
Thank you.
thank you and have a good evening.